Michael Dougherty is a friend of mine and a representative of Boulder County, and I've asked him to come in here and say a few words about what recovery support looks like and what they're doing in Boulder to help in that area. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is great to be with you tonight, and can you join me in giving Duke a round of applause for bringing us all together? And I just can't tell you enough how much I respect and admire your courage, strength, and resiliency, and coming together to celebrate. If, like me, you came up here and first went in the room next door, you thought, wow, sober S.AF.E has really gone downhill since I got the email. But I think it's terrific that we're all here together. And as the district attorney of Boulder County, I've seen in my career us make strides in helping people who are struggling with substance abuse disorders, but we have a lot of work left to do. We have a lot of work left to do. When I was in law school, I was an intern for the public defender's office, and I had this client who I was representing, Philip, and he taught me some really good lessons. First, Philip was an alcoholic and struggled a lot. He taught me, well, first he taught me never give your home number to your client who has a serious drinking problem, because 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning as a law student is a rough time to get phone calls from Philip. But he also taught me the power of addiction and how much he struggled when he was consumed by alcohol and how hard it was. But I also learned that going up to the prosecutor at the time who was handling the case, that person didn't really seem to care or have any compassion or thought about how to get Philip help that he needed, and to help him not cycle in and out of the justice system over and over and over again. And that's part of what pushed me to become a prosecutor. And now as the district attorney in Boulder County, we've put a priority on having more recovery programs in place. We also just recently had 2 young women who struggled with addiction come into my office and talk to our staff. We have a staff of roughly 100 people. And they had such incredible courage to come in and talk to district attorney staff about getting sober and going through recovery. And one of them had gone through our diversion program. We connected her with drug treatment. And another had gone through a different journey, but they were both standing there in front of the room talking about how hard it had been for them and how difficult. And I think it's important for us as prosecutors to hear that story and recognize that we need to do better, we need to do more to help folks. I certainly see that right now with the legislation on fentanyl, where fentanyl is killing far too many people. And a lot of those, they're described often as overdoses, but they're poisonings, where someone takes one pill and she thinks she's going to be okay and doesn't wake up again. So we have cases upon cases. We had 27 deaths in Boulder County last year, so it's 27 deaths. And we had 34 Narcan saves by the Longmont Police Department, 32 by the Boulder Police Department. All of those could have been deaths. And just think about the impact, of course, as you know, to their lives, their families, and the community. So I've been pushing hard for stronger penalties for the dealers who distribute fentanyl that results in death, but also more treatment dollars. And for the first time in my experience here in Colorado, we're going to see a huge treatment package pass through legislation, because we rank in the bottom 10 in the nation in treatment being available in the community. And I'm sure a lot of you yourselves or people you know have struggled to find treatment that's high level, consistent, and affordable. And for too long that's been the case here in Colorado. So the current legislation has over $30 million set aside for treatment. And that's why I strongly support it.
Right on.
Because we need to do a better job helping people get well and stay well. And it's not something that we can arrest ourselves out of.
Yeah.
The criminal justice process is not the right solution for a lot of folks who are struggling with addiction and substance abuse disorder. So that legislation has now become a flashpoint around possession. So if you look on the news, it's all about possession. And in a way, it kind of captures how hard an issue this is for people. There are some people who say anybody who possesses drugs should be felonized. And I think that's wrong. I think that's a mistake. Because you can't felonize substance abuse and expect people to get better. Because then you're putting the burden on them of criminal convictions that make it harder to get jobs, get into school, get housing, and so on. So that's why I strongly support having more treatment. Certainly holding dealers accountable for preying upon the public health crisis, but those that are struggling in the crisis themselves should not be felonized as a result. So I'm really excited to continue supporting those treatment efforts, and it's part of the reason we have treatment through our diversion program in Boulder County. But it really comes from changing the culture, and that's why I really appreciate what Duke and all of you are doing here. Because changing the culture and supporting one another and allowing people to have the opportunity to come together and be strong together, I think goes a long way towards helping people through recovery. So thanks for allowing me to be part of your gathering tonight. I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions you have, and I hope we all have a great night here. Thanks.
Awesome.